take a couple of hits off of whatever it is you got, watch this video, and I'll be back to talk about it.
Y'all sitting here complaining about not getting your food stamps. Well, you shouldn't. You shouldn't. We, the taxpayers, should be getting food assistance. We're the ones that work our butts off for that money that you sit on your ass and don't do a damn thing for. Nothing. I've worked my whole life for what I have. I paid for everything. Me and my husband paid for everything we have. Everything. And it's not fabulous. My house isn't fabulous, you can see. Needs a lot of work. But it's mine. And it's paid for. I'm not out here begging nobody for help. I don't get food stamp assistance. I work 65, 70 hours a week. My kids don't go hungry. Grandkids don't go hungry. I'm an avid couponer. I help just as many people out as I possibly can. I'm not living in no life of luxury. I live in a 1971 trailer. But it's paid for. My land is paid for. Our cars are paid for. Everything we own is paid for. That's what you do to make ends meet. We have a garden. Every summer, I can food. We freeze food, put it in the freezer. Our family doesn't do without food. Get off your lazy asses. Stop wanting people to give you free handouts. We, the taxpayers, don't owe you nor your kids a fucking thing. We owe you nothing. We didn't have them kids. I took care of my kids. I worked to take care of my kids. I never got food stamps. I never got government assistance. Never got government housing. Never got a fucking thing. But, I have white privilege. That's what you're gonna say. And I got a fucking thing to do with white privilege, honey. I've been working since I was 12 years old. Been addicted to drugs. Came out of it. Bought a place. Me and my husband both were addicted to drugs, matter of fact. So there's no excuse for why you're on EBT. If you've got 10, 12, 15 damn kids, that's your fault. Nobody's but yours. Nobody told you to have 7, 8, 12 kids. If you can't afford them, don't have them. Kids are precious. But it's your responsibility to take care of them. It's not mine. I work my 60 hours a week. I pay my bills. I pay cash for my groceries. What little we do get. You don't hear me bitching. I'm blessed. I'm blessed every day. God gives me the strength to get up and keep going. I don't need all them fancy cars. I don't need a big fancy ass house. I don't need all that extravagant crap that you value more than your own kids' food. So, until you stop getting the nails done and stop wearing all the gold rings and the gold necklaces and the gold and the gold and the gold and the gold and the Gucci's and the Versace's or whatever in the hell you want to call them and the big fancy ass cars, maybe your kids' food should come first. You wouldn't have to worry about your EBT getting cut off. Just a thought. Stop your bitching.
Okay, I stopped that at a little over 4 minutes, and believe it or not, that goes on for another 4 minutes. It's a doozy. But we're going to go ahead and cover what we've learned so far, because I'm not going to subject you to that anymore. Taxpayers should be getting food assistance. Why? Are you into socialism now? That's how you started that video. You said taxpayers should be getting food assistance. Why should we be getting food assistance as taxpayers? And are you under the impression that nobody that's on SNAP, EBT, or WIC works and pays taxes? Because if that's the case, you are sadly mistaken. You then went on to say, I'm not begging anybody for help, but you said over here that you, as a taxpayer, should be getting food assistance. You literally started your video that way. Sounds to me like you're asking for help. Of course, you give the usual, don't sit on your lazy asses. Once again, 30% of people on SNAP work. You then went on to say you work 65 to 70 hours a week. Just want to make sure that we understand this. 65 to 70 hours a week, which is a fuck ton of hours. And your husband works. You live in a paid-off 1971 mobile home, a trailer. So your trailer's paid off. You said your land is paid off. Everything you own is paid. There are no payments on anything. And you work 70 hours a week and you can still barely afford to put food in the fridge? Because you said, we pay cash for our groceries, what little we get. And how you got to can and you got to grow because, it's expensive out there. What fucking jobs are you working that you're working 70 hours a week? And if you're working 70 hours a week and you can barely afford to put fucking food in the refrigerator, then how about you join us and fight for a livable fucking wage? Do you think it's a flex that you work 70 hours a week and you can still barely afford to survive? And here you are simping for the millionaires and billionaires who are trying to cut off the fucking assistance to your fellow man and woman in your community. Fucking insane. You talked about how I don't owe you shit. It's not about owing somebody. I don't owe anybody out there anything. It's not about owing them. Do you give a shit if people starve to death? That's what it's about. Do you fucking care if people starve to death? It's a yes or no question. You talked about people who have, you went right into all the typical shit, right? They have 10, 12, 15 kids. If you can't afford them, don't have them. Fancy, you guys have fancy cars and houses. Get your nails done and your gold necklaces and your gold. Boy, you sure hit all the fucking racist talking points with that one. After talking about about how you don't have white privilege. So let me get this straight. You're another racist piece of white trash living in a mobile home that's barely making it in Donald Trump's world. You're pissed off at other people who are getting a slight hand up. You'd really like the assistance for yourself, but people shouldn't get anything and you're not begging for money. Get fucked, you racist sack of shit. By the way, that sounds like you might be a flat tire away from not being able to pay your bills, right? I knew people like this. We called them flat tire workers. They were one flat tire away from missing a couple of days of work, and that threw their whole fucking check off, and they weren't going to be able to pay their bills. You better never need this fucking assistance. You better fucking, you and your husband, you better never need this fucking assistance. Or at least you better never hear us hearing about you, how you need this assistance. Because we will make sure to spotlight that fucking bullshit. And when you don't get the assistance because the people you vote for turn that shit off, we will fucking rejoice in the fact that you were denied. You understand that? You better never need this shit.